Hello, I'm back. Let's do a read, y'all. Okay, we're going to pick up where we left off the last time. Where you were rooted and grounded in God's love, connected. Nobody else matters. It's just you and Him. Okay? Oneness. And you gain clarity through stillness. It says find clarity in stillness. It says meditation unlocks your intuition, your discernment, your inner knowing. And that alone is magic for you. That is the magic. That is the source of, I've been braiding, y'all. I got black dye, I guess, in my fingertips. But this is the magic. You being in that safe place, where nothing can penetrate the atmosphere that you are sitting in. Nothing can uproot you. You know who you are. You know why you are. Who you are. What you are. It says you have the power now. Use your magic to attract what you want in your life. Okay? What do you want in your life? This is going to that Solomon, that dream. Solomon, the reader. That dream that Solomon had. What do you want? God asked him. That was the magic. We're going to say that magic card is God. Okay? Because we don't be knowing how, things happen the way that they do. But next thing we know, voila, magic. Now we know what we never knew. So yeah, Solomon says, he asked Solomon, what do you want? Knowing that Solomon, he wasn't just asking anybody. What's this clergy card says? It says guardian of faith. Okay? He knew that Solomon was going to guard the faith, be a guardian of the faith, a spiritual guide, a teacher. It says they represent a teacher of law. Okay? That's definitely Solomon. And when I think of law, I think of wisdom. Wisdom. They represent a teacher of wisdom. The Proverbs, Ecclesiastes. And all this clarity Solomon found in stillness. Don't get no more still than being asleep. This is Solomon in his stillness, in his sleep. God appeared and asked him, you have the power now, Solomon. Solomon, now you are king. Come through, Holy Spirit. Solomon, now you are king. You have the power now. You have the authority now over your life and the life of those in this kingdom. How will you govern it? How will you lead? How will you guide? What will you teach? You have the power now. What do you want? He wasn't just asking anybody, but he was asking a teacher of the law. These are people who provide spiritual counsel, wisdom, and guidance. This aspect is linked to being a spiritual anchor. This is what Solomon was, as anchored as he was in spirit. Here he was having to be that in the flesh, guardian of the faith, an anchor. In times of crisis, they needed a good king. They didn't need another Saul. Saul was he was a tyrant. He was a tyrant. His way, or I'm killing everything in my way. Connection to divine power. Connection to divine power. This is what we have here between Solomon and God. Us and God. Those of us like Solomon. Those of us who are wise. Those of us who are chosen. And when I say chosen, I mean you have a relationship with God. You are his child. You are his seed. The incorruptible seed. He know if he give you the power, it's in good hands. He give you authority to ask for whatever you want, and it'll be that way. He knows that it's going to be not just good for you, but everybody involved. Everybody connected to you. It says connection to divine power, processing a special bond, possessing. I got to change that because I keep saying it wrong. Possessing a special bond with the divine, okay? This is who we talking to. People who possess a special bond with the divine, with God, with source, with the creator of all. And without him wasn't anything made. The creator of all. Having a special bond with the divine, obtained through spiritual practices. Spiritual practices. Okay? Solomon meditated on the word day and night, like a spiritual lawyer is what he was. Obtained through spiritual practices like meditation, prayer, okay, and self-denial, which is out here, but not supposed to be in this reading. But I lost my card. I love having a picture of it. I can't find it, so maybe it ain't supposed to. Okay, I got it. Self-denial. Ascetic, it says seeker of self-restraint. When you know how to delay your gratification, you know that you can't always have what you want the way you want it. You learn you're patient. You know how to wait. You know how to seek God's face until you get an answer. Seek his counsel first before you start counseling. Before you start making decisions. Abstinence, okay? Purification, discipline, okay? A disciple, a king, but still a disciple of the divine. Special bond, asking God to father him, mother him, everything that he needs. I'm depending on you to show me what to do. This is the humility that Solomon had. If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray, I will what? Heal their land. There was a need for healing to be in the land during the time that Solomon was living in. He done cleaned house. He done got rid of everything that's evil. Come on. He done got rid of all the cutthroats in the kingdom, the Shimei's, okay? Who else? The Joabs, few others. Cleaning house of all evil so that he can build a home, so that he can build a sanctuary out of his life and out of his life, you know, internally, externally, as above, so below. This is how he wanted it to be. Lord, let your kingdom come. Your will be done on earth, in me, as an earthen vessel, just as it is in heaven. Let it be in my world, externally, the way it is inside of me. So let me clean house of everything that doesn't want me to live this life that I know you want me to have. Evil is spelled backwards, is live. Evil does not want you to live, to have life, and that life more abundantly. No, it's a thief of that. The thief cometh to steal, kill, and destroy. But God said, I have come through Solomon, come on, through you, through me. I have come that you might have life, and that life even more abundantly, even more magically, even more majestically. Abundant life. You know what to do and what not to do. The Proverbs, this is a picture of the Proverbs, okay? Knowing the Proverbs just keep telling us over and over again, if you do this, A, B, C, and D gonna happen. If you do that, E, F, G, H, okay? I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, R, come on. U, V, W, X, Y, Z gonna happen if you do the other. To this day, we're able to learn, we're able to grow, we're able to be taught, okay, by the teachings of Solomon, by the teacher of the law. Even the things that we're learning in our life today, there are Solomons that are living today in this time, wise men who still seek God's wisdom, who still have their connection with God, that special bond where nothing and nobody can come in between it, where you are the guardian of it, the guardian of it. You understand the magic, the power that God has given. And you know what it takes, you know what I'm saying, for things to remain rooted and grounded in everything that's good. Meditation, prayer, and self-denial. My people perish for a lack of knowledge because they do not know. They don't know right from wrong, up from down, good from bad, left from right. So you end up letting people like this, when you don't know, it's how you perish. Because you give people like this an opportunity. Too much of an opportunity. Too much of the benefit of the doubt. You being a compassionate caregiver and someone who's altruistic. You know, you just think the good. You know, you're looking for the good. You know, you got your mind and your thoughts on what's good. However, we have to not forget that this also exists in our life, in our reality, in our realm. So we have to do what? Keep our distance. Right here it says, in the hood, but not of it. In the hood, in the world, but not of it. Not like it. I think on different things than this world thinks about. The paths of the perverse and the wicked are snares and pitfalls, okay? The path following this gonna have you in a snare, in a trap, okay? In a trap house. That's what the hood is. Trap houses all up and down through there. But it's gonna leave you stuck, imprisoned, which is what we are not allowing to happen. It says, if you know what's good for you, stay clear and far away. Stay clear and far away. This is Proverbs 22:5. Stay clear and far away from the thief of life. Because you know what's good. You know what's good. You know it's good to be disciplined. You know it's good to be patient. You know it's good to delay your gratification. You know it's good to stay grounded, stay rooted, okay? To stay connected, to guard your faith, to know who to be compassionate with, and who to stay clear and far away from. This is who we talking about today. This is what we talking about, right? Getting rid of the old. Everything that's evil is what God advised Solomon. You got to get rid of everything that's evil so you can have a clean slate. So you can have this life. Which card did I drop? So that you can have this life that I have promised. It's there. Okay. It's dark in here, y'all. It's there. The life that I promise is not just in your imagination. It's not just in your dreams. Solomon had a dream that I would be able to be this type of leader. One that has a special bond with you. One where I will know, come on, I will know what to do. I'ma know. I'm going to pursue knowledge from you. Okay? I'm going to pursue knowledge from you, God. I'm going to seek your face. This is what a power is, and the ability to be able to seek, to ask, to knock on God's door, and know that it's going to be open. Know that he's going to have compassion on you. Know that he is going to help you in this sacred mission. Whatever mission it is that he has for you to do. Find others like you. That's what he wants to do. Since you gave up the other path, since you left the hood, okay, he wants to give you new. A land, a harvest of people just like you. When it comes to that bottom line, they believe like you do. They want God's kingdom to come, his will to be done on earth just like it is in heaven too. These are people who are good soil, good ground to sow on. That's what God is giving you. That's what you can expect to reap. Others who also want to build a world that's worth living in. Others who are emotionally grounded, stable. Rich earth that holds water and lets roots grow deep. This represents a receptive person. Come on. This is, okay, a receptive person. Somebody who can be taught by God. A receptive person who hears, understands, and acts on the message, that acts on the message which will produce a large harvest, okay, of good works. This is what Solomon was asking for. Lord, I want to reproduce a large harvest of good works. I want to leave a legacy of faith. I want it to be known all over the world for eternity. how I had faith in you. Faith in you, faith in your kingdom, so much so that what you showed me in that stillness, I'm producing it on earth. Okay, I'm being it, I'm doing it, and I'm being it. I'm living a life of it. I'm being an example of it. As believers, we are part of a kingdom of faith. And home country. Come on, that look like home country right there. God is constructing a holy temple out of you. Out of you. Out of Solomon. Solomon was the temple. I know he built one, you know what I'm saying, in the natural, but he was that in the flesh first. He was that in the flesh first. God is constructing a holy temple or home using individuals. Listen, y'all. Using individuals as stones. All us put together gonna build a home. An atmosphere. Using individuals, fitting us together brick by brick and fitting us together brick by brick. And Jesus is the foundational cornerstone. Christ, his love, everything he stood for. You know, that's the cornerstone. Upon this rock, upon this revelation knowledge, I'm going to build my church, myself. I'm going to build me up in you. I'm going to build me up in you. God saw himself in Solomon. He saw his heart. He saw his mindset, his way of thinking, his way of doing in Solomon. Solomon knew what to ask for. He knew what to want. God loved him, favored him. His name, Jedediah. God gave him that name. Jedediah, beloved of the Lord. When God appeared to Solomon in a dream, when God appeared to Solomon in a dream, in stillness, offering him any gift, Solomon humbly asked for an understanding heart. There's a quote that says, wisdom is at home in a heart of understanding. Wisdom is at home. That's why you hadn't been feeling at home before, because this heart don't have no understanding. These people like this don't have a heart of understanding. They don't want to understand. They don't care to understand. Wisdom is at home in a heart of understanding. It says he asked for an understanding heart to rightly judge the people in his life, in his world, those that came to him, rather than requesting long life, wealth, or the death of his enemies. He said, give your servant a discerning heart to govern your people, to govern. That's so Christ-like. Christ was the same way. He had a discerning heart that enabled him to govern the people of God during his day, during his time. Those in his life, those that came to him, looked to him as a spiritual guide, as a teacher. Those that look to him to be counseled, to be guided. Give your servant a discerning heart to govern your people, to distinguish between right and wrong. All this. To distinguish between right and wrong. This is what I want you to sow in me. A heart of understanding. To govern your people and to distinguish between right and wrong. For who is able, this is where he humbles himself, under the mighty hand of God, that God would exalt him in due time, in due season. For who is able to govern this great people of yours? Not my people. Even though you gave them to me, they're your people. I want to do right by them. But I need your wala magic. I need your grace. I need your favor. I need your enabling ability. I need you in me, Christ in me, in order to bring about, this glory. In order to bring forth land. Good fruit. Good works. In order to be an example of the faith that a man, that a woman, that a human can have in God. And watch God work miracles. That's that magic. And watch God work miracles. Do something miraculous with our life because we ask. I want to participate. I want to do well. Enable me. It says, become a participant versus a spectator. When every joint supplies, making their own unique contribution. This is the Four of Wands. It's like a picture of yourself. You, the participant. You making your own unique contribution in order to create a unified whole. When each is receiving from the sun, the source, and giving in gratitude from the heart, the whole creates a tremendous energy field. Okay, like on the day of Pentecost. Creates a tremendous energy field that takes the shape of a thunderbolt. God says where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name towards my cause, okay? Towards what I want, which is what's best for all involved. When 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there will I be in the midst of them, in the middle of them. In the middle of what they're building. God was in the midst of Solomon building the temple for the Lord. And it was a success. Covered in gold. But Solomon was golden. Everything he, for the most part. No man is perfect, but for the most part. If he was president, we would be okay. We would be okay. Because Solomon was seeking to do things God's way so that God's people would be blessed. See the motive? Motive is all that matters at the end of the day. You could do a whole bunch of good things, but if you don't do them with the right motive, it's all bad. None of it mattered. God is looking for a heart that is after his heart, that wants what he wants. Like David said, David was a man after God's own heart. When you're willing to cut off things that have been in your life all your life. But if they're not giving you life, if they are hindering you from having the life that, Christ came and sacrificed and did everything he did so we could have. He came and literally showed us the way to live, as God intended for us to live from the very beginning, okay, before the fall. Now we can receive more wealth. Solomon understood that the wealth was in having an understanding heart and having that special bond with God. That's where the wealth was. Understanding God, you can understand life. No better teacher than life itself. God is life. It says you gave in to God. You gave in. You gave in to God. You came to terms with him. And everything turned out fine. You let him tell you what to do. See that humility? You let him tell you what to do. About who you was doing which and what with. You let him tell you what to do. You took his words to heart. You took his words to heart. Not just reading the book, but took the words to heart. You came back to Almighty God and he rebuilt your life. And he rebuilt your life. Made you. The Lord prepared you to be a sanctuary. Pure and holy. Tried and true. With thanksgiving, I want to be a living. This is the trials, okay? Where you see the scars on his back. Where you were enslaved by your own sins, generational curses, all of that. Society, rules, all of that. But you was like, you know what? I'm in this situation, but I am not of it. I'm finna discipline myself. I'm gonna have to cut some stuff off. I'm gonna have to let some folk go. Let some things go. Let some ways of being and doing go. So that I can become all that I was created to be. It says you took his words to heart. You came back. You came back to Almighty God and he rebuilt your life. You cleaned house. See, he did stuff and you got to do stuff. You cleaned house of everything evil. Evil. Keyword, evil. You learn to relax your grip on money. Because the love of it is the root of all evil. And we cleaning house of everything that's evil. And anybody that's like that, if they think like that, if they love money to the point of being evil, they got to go. You abandon your ideas of gold-plated luxury and decree God Almighty as your treasure. You knew what to want. You knew what to want. Understood that you had the power to choose. I know better. I can do better. Because I know, because I pursued God, Lord, show me. Sat in that stillness. Received that clarity. Now I can make changes. Now I can do things differently. Now I can leave those people that are in conflict, with me and with the life that I know I'm supposed to be living. Well, but they're family, but they're, you've been knowing these people all your life, that they, your homeboys, your homegirls, your who. You realize y'all had a different path. You didn't want the same things. They was okay being bound. Okay? It was okay in slavery. Living a way, being a way that was cruel. And ruthless. They didn't want to hear anything about restraining or seeking the self. Or abstaining. Or being disciplined. Or purifying. Yeah, they rejected the cornerstone. You was the cornerstone the whole time, but they weren't trying to see you in that way. Too cruel to see that way. Too ruthless to recognize. Who you were. And which was chosen to do what? Chosen to go a different way. Chosen to leave the perverse and the wicked paths of your past behind. Nine of Wands. Leaving that perverse and wicked past behind. You got emotional clarity now. It says emotional clarity sharpens your intuition. Emotional clarity, when you can see emotionally, see yourself, see the situation, see in the spirit, not just what's being said, what's being rumored, what's being, you could see beyond the emotions and know she tuning in. That special bond paying off. Show me, God. Help me to see emotionally. It says emotional clarity, when you are emotionally clear. You can see through your feelings and their feelings. Their emotions, their reactions. When you can see emotionally, and when you have emotional clarity, this creates healthier boundaries. and lowers stress. And lowers stress. Being able to see emotionally makes it easier to communicate your exact needs. Okay? You know what you want and what you don't want. And once you got clear, you was able to make them cuts. Okay? Once you got clear, you was able to make those cuts. You was able to set yourself free, cut yourself free from the thoughts that had you living in misery and wanting company. It said, but when you're emotionally clear, this, and able to see emotionally, it makes it easier to communicate your exact needs to others without confusion or defensiveness. They want to fight, but you're not defensive because you're not confused. You're clear. You know what you want. And you know it wants you. Look how she looking into the mirror. Into the same above. As above, so below. Like two mirrors. Mirror here, mirror there. And that mirror is God. That's okay. Got her mind on her God. And her God on her mind. He is all, she is all. Okay? We know God is, we are made in his image. So we see him in that masculine way, in that feminine way if we choose to. But we see him as the way to be, as the way. He shows us the way out, shows us the way in to some new, something we never had before. Peace. Okay, it says it lowers the stress when you're able to create these healthy, create these healthy boundaries. Emotional clarity keeps you from feeling hijacked, okay, or swallowed whole by a sudden move or emotional wave. It keeps you from feeling hijacked or swallowed whole by a sudden move or an emotional wave. Sometimes sex is the emotional wave. It's the way you feel in the moment. You think you want. That's what you think you want. In the moment, in emotional, you have a wave of emotions that come over you, and next thing you know, you are swallowed whole. You in it. You in the situation. Feeling hijacked. Caught up. But that emotional clarity is a weapon of defense. That emotional clarity is a weapon of defense. Just you knowing, and then you doing. Creating those healthy boundaries that are going to keep you safe. All these bars is what you used to be behind. Imagine each one of them representing something toxic, unhealthy, wicked, perverse. Got you locked up. It won't let you out. It won't let you out. Locked up. It won't let you out. Yeah, say stay clear and far away. If you know what's good. Don't perish because you don't know what's good. Pursue the knowledge so you know what's good. Clarifying the Nine of Wands. And put this emotional clarity back till we need it again. Clarifying the Nine of Wands is predator. It keeps saying the same thing in a different way. And the disciple of ritual, excuse me, which shows how you came out. Predator is this. Predator. And then this ritual is what you had to do. This is who you had to be. This is how you had to seek on this level. Deep. Deep. As deep as the wounds were. The scars. Externally, internally. You had to come out from within. This right here, predator, where's my book? Let's just read the little notes. 41. 41 is 5, which speaks of change. Because you had to make a change. You had to choose. Ye this day who you gonna serve. And if you choose the devil over God, then nigga, you got nerve. You got nerve. Because you risking being locked up behind all the BS. By making this choice. Yeah, we made the right choice. We said, I'm coming out. Yeah, I know what to do. I see clearly what I'm working with and what I'm not working with and what I'm never going to have to work with. As long as I'm living, okay, in the hood of this world. It says, you know that voice? You know that voice of the psyche that wants you to comply or conform. Don't that sound like the hood? They always want you to comply. And when I say the hood, I mean the world, the lower parts of the world, the hell of this world. The part of this world that wants to kill us, steal from us, and destroy us. You know that voice of the psyche that wants you to comply or conform in order to fit in, or shames you for being selfish, or tells you it's honorable and responsible to deny your longings, demanding you fold your dreams away into a people-pleasing shaped box. Demanding that you fold your dreams away into a people-serving shaped box. It's a predator. It is a predator you adopted as family. Come on, y'all. We talk about the hood, the neighborhood, where you grew up, the family you grew up in, the people you invited into your life as family, whether it's husband, wife, sister, brother, sissy, bro, friend, even at work. You spend more time at work than you do at home. So it could definitely be any area of your life. It's a predator. You adopted as family. The voice condemning and convincing you that following your desires will hurt other people. This is what it tries to convince you, that following your desires hurts other people. It's inside you. The call is coming from inside the house. Okay? So this could definitely be family. Coming from inside the house, inside the home. Family, husband, wife, mama, daddy, sister, brother, family. You. Coming from inside of you. Your memories. The predator is an unholy inquisitor. He might have first showed up outside of you in your original, right here, flip the page, in your original home, church, or school, and most certainly in our culture as a whole. But he is now alive as the inner patriarchy. It's the force that wants to control you in order to keep you small and unthreatening. It wants to keep you small and unthreatening. It's moved into the psyche as it does generation after generation. So we talking about breaking a generational curse, which is what Solomon did. He broke a generational curse. Solomon's rule and reign was all about there being peace. As the queen say, peace on earth. Okay? Peace within him. Because it can be stressful being a king, you know what I'm saying, queen of a kingdom. Trying to figure out what to do. Over all these people, over and over again. He asked for the right thing. There was peace within him, just knowing that God was with him. That God was for what he was for. That he and the Creator were, creating together. This beautiful, this magical, this majestic, this legendary expression of God's love. Because God named him Jedediah. He was telling him, I love you. And because I love you, I'm blessing you with everything you love. Seriously, you can have whatever you like. Because you know what to want. I gave you the power and you knew what to do with it. And what not to do with it. Who to be and who not to be. As a result of you having this power. Don't be like the old. You don't be evil. And with power. Talking about destroying yourself fast. God was having his way during that time, during that day, during that hour, during the time of Solomon's reign. God was like, he's having it was his time. God was not asking. He did ask when he asked Solomon, what do you want? Ask for whatever you want. And most kings would have asked for all the things that he didn't ask for. Most worldly kings who want power or think that that's what power looks like would have asked for all of the things that Solomon didn't want. They'd asked for the enemies to be killed. They'd asked for wealth, all the money in the world. You know, it's like really going to a genie and asking for the three, make a wish. He didn't even ask to live a long life. His focus was totally on, he was able to see clearly, emotionally. With a heart of understanding is emotional clarity. He was able to see clearly what the will of God was, what God wanted, what would be good for all involved. If God was here to do it, how would he want it to be done? What would he want? How? So he said, God, I want this. I want a special bond with you. But when I'm asked, it's like you're being asked. And when I answer, it's as if you have answered. Be it unto me, God. I want it to be that way with me and mine. So we get it right every time. We ain't just hitting and missing. And everything that's trying to hit us is missing. They missing it. They are not penetrating the presence of God. In case you're wondering what the protection is, where it's coming from, you cannot penetrate the presence of God with the evil, with the BS. There's too much of him in the equation. Too much of God in the equation. Too much asking, seeking, and knocking going on. For your will to be done. We're going to get it with this. We're going to get it with that. We're going to get it. We got all these things, old and new. But here you are. In his presence. Okay? Still, anchored. Seeing, hearing. Asking. And coming to know which way to go. So I can get out and stay out. And they can't get in. A woman in total control of herself knows it's purposeful to speak truth. It's purposeful to speak truth to power, to stand up and march for justice, fairness, and decency. But she is also determined to march on behalf of the girl inside of her living with a monster. Ooh, she fighting for the girl inside of her. But she is also determined to march on behalf. She is also determined to march on behalf of the girl inside of her, the girl inside of her, living with a monster. This you marching. This you determined. This you defending fiercely. Not in a defensive way. But just flat-footed. Just not confused. You're clear. Emotionally clear. Able to communicate your exact needs. Standing up for the little girl inside of you that's living with a monster. One that you adopted as family. She is willing to take to the inner streets. Come through. She is willing, that part, willing. We need hearts that are willing to take to the inner streets, the inner hood, the inner bottom of herself, to clean, come on, clean, purification, to clean, okay? Do that by worshiping, ritualistically, purifying, cleansing, constantly, dealing with that in the spirit, washing. Cleaning, cutting, everything that cleanses in all the ways. She is willing to take to the inner streets to clean up the injustice of bullying, to clean up the injustice of bullying thoughts, blaming self-talk, and name-calling. She speaks up for fairness with the internal predatory voice. She speaks up for fairness when the internal predatory voice demands that she pleases everyone else before herself. She embodies fierce decency when her dreams or hungers or passions are shamed and belittled from within. She embodies fierce decency. Look at that with the crown, with the decency. Fierce. She determined to see herself the way that God does. The way that He has shown herself, the way He sees her. Look at that. She is focused on that. She's not looking behind her. She's not even thinking about what these people are thinking about doing or what they're actually doing. Because she knows that they're going to have to get through the heart of Him in order to get to her. They're going to have to penetrate His presence in order to prick her finger. So yeah, we clean up these inner streets. Clean them up of what? The injustice of bullying thoughts. Okay? As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So whenever those thoughts, those bullying thoughts, come, you got to pull them down. Put them in their place. Show them where they belong. Talk to them like that. No, over there. Underneath my feet. You trying to exalt yourself above the knowledge of what I know about God. What I know. Nobody gonna come along and tell Solomon nothing different. He knew. He remembered his father's words, David's words. Okay, Bathsheba's, his father's instructions. His mother's cautions. He knew what to want. Blaming self-talk and name-calling. See, they called him a bastard. Shimei on the low. On the low. Shimei was bringing up Bathsheba and David's situation, and it was messy. But he still wanted to call him, bully him, you know, call him out his name, call him everything but a child of God. He was definitely a child of God. He was definitely a child of God, okay? Even though, yes, situation was this, it might have been that might, you know, the facts were there, but the truth, he was a child of God. At the end, chosen as king, to be king, to rule and to reign. And wasn't nothing that they could do about that. Wasn't nothing about that gonna change. God loved him enough to give him a secondary name, Jedediah. So nothing was going to get through what God had already declared over him, spoken over him. He was favored. And that's that. Don't care about how you feel about it, predator, patriarchal system, whatever. He was a true worshiper of God, loved by God, and nothing in this world was going to change it. And instead, he was going to change the world. With what God had said about him, declared over his life. Yeah, he would. Ooh, it's okay, Juju. He would change the world. Let me turn the light back on. Okay. It's okay. You know, even growing up, he probably had heard all kind of stories. Because I'm looking at this part where he says, he's talking, you know, this book is speaking to women. But he says, when he says the little girl, but she is also determined to march on behalf of the little girl inside of her. He had a little boy inside of him, Solomon, that needed to be spoken over, reminded of how loved he was, how chosen he was, how supported he was. So supported. Nothing can touch you. You've been through the fire with those wands representing fire, fiery actions of others that left scars. If you were a building, yeah, they tried to set you on fire with all their predatory actions, cutthroat, ruthless, cruel ways. But God had to speak over him, you know, to the point where he could stand up for himself, for the little boy that was living, you know, that was on the inside of him, living with the monster, living with the voices, living with what he said and they said. And God, like, don't nobody know you like I do. You got to hold up what I say over, yeah, what they say, whoever they are, whoever, you know, see clearly. Emotionally, you got to see clearly so you know who they are and why what they say does not matter. What they say does not matter. You've been redeemed. You're disciplined now. Okay, you have the power now. You have the power now. You passed the test. You made the right choice. You've been redeemed. Go tell another now. It ain't nothing like it seems. And when the devil says, come, let's reminisce about when, oh girl, it ain't been that long. You ain't forgot all about then. Take him up on his offer. Don't be scared to look back. Because in the past is the fact that back then ain't never been all that. Okay? It's nothing. It's nothing to cut that off. It's nothing. We're not looking back and turning to salt. We're not looking back and becoming salty, bitter. No, we're going forward, becoming better than we've ever been, than the line has ever been, the generational line. Solomon was better than, when Solomon came along, he changed everything. Made it better than it's ever been. She embodies fierce decency when her dreams and or hungers or passions are shamed and belittled from within. It is time to take a stand against the unholy inquisition of the psyche, of the mind, and develop the tools to defeat the toxic patriarchy living there. Patriarchy, and defeat the toxic patriarchy living there. You deserve nothing less. You deserve nothing less but the best. And God wants to give it to you who have that heart of understanding, who knows what to want, who is emotionally clear and protected from feeling hijacked or swallowed whole by people's sudden moves or even the things that they say that cause emotional waves. See that right here? They want you to be mad. They want you to be... look here. They being so cruel. Where is it? They out here being so cruel, so predatory. Okay? They want you to be mad. Instead, you discipline and worshiping. I found it. They want you to be mad. They want to be so ruthless, so cruel that it makes you mad. Talking about becoming emotionally clear. But instead, you discipline. Instead, look at her. They both got their face turned toward God. Okay? Who is the prize. He's the one that got what you need so that you're free. Solomon asked and he received. Even though he had been rejected by people like Shimei or leaders in society. We got the new moon in Pisces. It says, tune into your intuition and let your imagination tune into your, see that tuned in, facing forward, tuned in. Let your imagination, let what you see in the spirit direct you in the flesh. Solomon woke up from that dream, okay, able to perform, able to produce good fruits, okay, able to judge justly. Okay, everybody started benefiting from his wisdom. from the prayer that he had just asked the night before, the next day. He was able to perform in a way that was legendary. Still talking about it to this day. You deserve nothing less. Justice. But you got to tune in. You got to tune in. You got to, get with God. Stay devoted. So you can get everything that he got for you right there. More wealth than you can what? Imagine. More wealth than you can what? Imagine. Wealth in every way. Solomon, he had favor with God and with man. That was a wealth. The favor that he had with man enabled him to ask any of those men. We need lumber for this. We need gold for that. We need the mines to be okay. Yeah, we need holes to be dug. Yeah, we need stuff. He was asking and receiving. Because he was imagining what he wanted it to look like, this temple. All of that was created out of his imagination. The kingdom of God on earth, heaven on earth, all of that came forth from his imagination. From his dreams, from his intuition, internal insight. And it was all because he gave in to God, because he was devoted to God. Right here we got, it depends on your devotion. God devotion makes a country or a kingdom strong. God avoidance leaves people weak. They look strong, but they weak. They avoid God. They avoid his guidance. They avoid his spiritual laws. God avoidance leaves people weak. Weak. That's why they can't penetrate. Weak. You avoiding God? Where's your power? Where's your power? There is no power when you are avoiding God. There's only power when you are devoted. When you devoted to God, when you tuned in, when you have that special bond, when you have that relationship, then you become the temple in which he dwells. Built by God. We said earlier, brick by brick. God built. And that's why you can't tear it down. That is why you cannot tear it down. That's why it was peace during Solomon's reign. Because God was in charge. Solomon was not alone. He was not operating alone. He was not building alone. He was very much being mentored. Yes, he was being mentored by God. Fathered by God. Comforted by God. Parented by God. And let's not forget, he asked to be. If I had one wish, he knew what to ask for with that one wish. He knew what to ask for. He knew what to want. And knowing what to want gave him the power. All power was in Solomon's hands. So he could build a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary just for you. Yes, where we worship truly with our lives. Our lives is a worship. Okay, Solomon spent his life just talking about God, just expressing himself towards God in song, in Proverbs, and I did say songs, but I was thinking, Lord, what songs? He would say the songs of Solomon, poetically, in every way that God had gifted him to do it. But yeah, that emotional clarity, you had to become the detective. Search within. Investigator of truth. Okay, that's what Solomon said. I need the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So God, you can help us all. Help me to be able to discern. Yeah, show me the clues. Yes. Unveil the truth. Let the truth be unveiled as to what I'm dealing with and why I'm having to deal with it. These energies are an opportunity for us to be able to walk in and walk out destiny's victory. There's a destined victory. We're destined to win. We're destined to overcome the monster within and the one that's without a God, because they avoid God, and that's why they weak. That's why they're not going to be able to penetrate. Emotional clarity. You understand why. See, Solomon was like that. He want to understand the why of the what. You understand the why. You're able to connect the emotion back to its root cause. Unmet needs or triggers. Why am I feeling this way? Why? Why am I affected emotionally to this extent? Why are they acting that way? Why are they responding that way? Why? Why? You understand the why. You're able to connect the emotion back to its root cause. This is all about becoming emotionally clear. Emotional clarity, so you can put up those healthy boundaries and have lower stress, no stress. Only stress that's necessary. Knowing why an emotion exists enables you to act from a grounded place. Knowing why an emotion exists enables you to act. See, when you get that knowing why an emotion, you sit with it, the emotion. And knowing why it exists, because you done asked, you done sought, you done knocked, you done bonded with God over the matter. It enables you to act from a grounded place rather than acting on impulse, which is what they do. This is what they be doing, acting on impulse. I'll put us in the middle here. We get a clear picture. See. Yeah. That's them. Acting on impulse. Just throwing stuff at you. Just doing stuff to set the house on fire. To burn the house down. Instead, you just burnt the bridge. You just let the bridge burn. They the one doing the setting on fire. They the one being cruel and ruthless and predatory. Yeah, you just let the bridge burn behind you. Now they can't cross no more. Yeah, can't come back. Can't come back over. No. God put an end to that thing where it was, yeah. Death do you part. It'll never live again. It'll never exist in your world again. This energy. It can't live here. It can't live in your kingdom. It can't live in your world. Okay, so you being able to act from a grounded place rather than acting on impulse, this improved your ability to make sound decisions. Yeah, like, don't just turn your head, turn your back. Sound decision. Made that decision from a place of clarity, not blindness. He says emotional clarity can be practiced by journaling, writing down raw thoughts and feelings, and tracing them back to what happened before the feeling began, before the thought start, repeating. It says body scanning, noticing where tension or physical pain, like every time this person come around, you get a headache, or you just after they leave, you just gotta go and lay down. You don't even know what's wrong with you. All y'all did was sit and talk. But now after they done gone, you gotta go and lay down. You just feeling confused. Your thoughts are really. Yeah. How are you being affected? We have to discern. We have to detect. We have to take the time to sit with ourselves. Sit with those thoughts. Get a view, a spiritual view of what's happening around us. It says, noticing where tension or physical pain sits in the body to decode the message behind the mood. There's a message behind the mood. You're not just being moody. Sit with those raw thoughts. Raw. How you really think. When you can't think out loud about the situation. So you can make sound decisions. Do what you need to do. What you know you have to do. In order for there to be a new you. A you that's free. Free from the danger of their reality. Okay? We in this world, but we not of it. Come from the hood, but I ain't of it. I don't have a poverty mindset. I believe that things can grow if you tend to them, and if the ground is good, if the heart is good, if the heart is pure, anything is possible. These are the things that I think on. It says understanding. This card says escape the mental cage through God-given understanding. Solomon knew I could have something different. I don't want to be at war all the time like my father David was. If I ask, if I, you know what I'm saying, request the right thing, we might really be able to, okay, produce something, a life that's really worth living. A God devotion, it says God devotion makes a country strong. If I am devoted to God first and foremost, I may be able to really create a life that I don't want to escape from. All through having an understanding, all through being emotionally clear and bonded to God, in relationship with Him, participating, so that I can build the home, you know, that we have in heaven here on earth. That's what King Solomon, the whole kingdom was all about. Over here where we live. And it be filled with people like him that wanted what he wanted. That were in agreement. Wanted to see the same life that he wanted to see. Longed for, they had the same desires that he longed for. Yeah, understanding. It says the dawn of a new understanding. Spread your wings and be free. It says spread your wings and be free. The bars of an illusion and the cage has always been open. The bars were an illusion. And the cage has always been open. The small bird is being summoned, called by the other little birdies. By the grace, freedom, by the grace, freedom, and encouragement of the others. It's spreading its wings, ready to take flight for the very first time. It can feel a little shaky at first. That's fine. But don't allow anxiety to overshadow the light-hearted opportunity. Don't allow anxiety to overshadow the light-hearted opportunity. I'm sure that Solomon was feeling a lot of anxiety. You know, getting ready to take on this crown, getting ready to take on this position, getting ready to govern these people. Behind the bars of the past and how they had done things in the past, even dealing with his father's adversaries. He had to really be rooted and grounded in the understanding, rooted and grounded in his heart that understood the life that God promised, okay, wanted him to have. And knowing that, you know, this was a thing where it say when pigs fly type thing. Nobody ever thought that this would happen for David, for his seed, especially after how him and Bathsheba got together. Nobody would have thought that God would be this generous, this so majestically, so magically, so, you know, that he would be bestowed this type of wisdom, knowledge, understanding. But it was true. God had chosen to do it through him, like he's choosing to do it through you, through me. Those of us that are saying, Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary. That's what Solomon was. He was a literal sanctuary. And that's why he built a sanctuary. He just wanted to do so much for God. I hear it couldn't. It just was never enough. He just was expressing and expressing and expressing his love towards God. Yes, communicating with God in everything he built and everything that he wrote, in every song, in every poem, in every proverb. Sharing. What an opportunity to share, to care at this level, to this degree. If you would just allow me, God. God said, yes, you are allowed, okay? So don't you allow the shaky, feelings that you feeling at first. Don't allow anxiety to overshadow this opportunity of a lifetime. He said, fly high like an eagle. You are out of jail, okay? Out of the cage. No longer bound spiritually or in the natural. Free. You're not bound by the things that used to have you or your daddy or your mama. Free to come and go in life as you please. Solomon could do whatever he wanted to. He could learn, he could grow, he could discover, he could build, he could tear down. Because that bottom line was right. That motive, that heart was pure. So no matter what he was doing, he was just, he was upright. And God was giving him permission. Fly high like an eagle. You are out of jail. You are out of the cage. You can open up your wings, okay? You can open up your heart of understanding and experience the open sky. Okay, experience heaven on earth. Heaven in earth. It says all the stars, the sun, and the moon belong to you. That's what God is telling us. To his children. Those who are devoted to him. Those in whom he, they are a sanctuary. God's dwelling place. He dwells within them. Operates through them. He says all the sun, the stars, the sun, and the moon belong to you. See, with that imagination, that's what she's looking at. That realness, that spiritual truth. Within the inner atmosphere of your very being, freedom is the highest value. Everything else is secondary. All becomes possible in an atmosphere of freedom. All becomes possible in an atmosphere of freedom. All becomes possible in an atmosphere of freedom. And that is exactly what happened with Solomon in that dream. In that dream. All became possible. Oh, what do you want? In an atmosphere of freedom. That's why God, the things that he has me doing is like set in the atmosphere. If I'm singing a song, it's set in the atmosphere. You have to set an atmosphere. That sends a message. Can't touch this. Touch not my anointed, do my prophets, my people, my messengers, my children no harm. They here to build. They here to cultivate the land. Okay? They here to be free. Okay? Indeed. Indeed. In every way. They're here to know me so they can prosper. No lack. All becomes possible in an atmosphere of freedom. And when you before God and in the presence of God, it don't get no freer than that. Don't forget to use those dreams, those imaginations, that quiet time when you being anchored, becoming centered. So you can understand what the will of God is, what he wants on this land. And you can defend and set those boundaries. You not being defensive, but just setting up those healthy boundaries. So you're not offended and don't have to defend. Solomon he got all the evil out. Follow God to the, what God wanted. Get this out. Do this, do that. Deal with this that way. Deal with the other way. So ain't nothing in your way. The farmer have to plow first. Turn that soil over. We're going to find out what's good when it's time to plow that ground. Yeah, so we flying high like an eagle. We're being free. We're escaping the mental cage through God-given understanding. Escaping the mental cage through God-given understanding, which is allowing us to fly high like an eagle, to lead from a heavenly view, from the heart of God. Don't get no higher than that. Being in the heart of the Most High. Making decisions from that place. Being in the heart of the Most High. Discipline. Okay, this is what you do. Praise is what I do. This is what I do. Solomon lived a life of worship. His life became a living prayer. And in doing this, clarifying this worship card, in doing this, saying what God tell you to say and meaning it all the way, that's securing the bag. Yeah. The bag is secured, okay? The wealth is in, and we talking about wealth, it said more wealth than you can imagine. Because you gave in to God, came to terms with him, and then and then everything turned out fine, just like magic. Turned out fine, turned out just how God wanted it to turn out. You let him tell you what to do. You took his words to heart. Now they worrying about, she said what? She said what? What she said? She said what God said. She said what God told her to say. Yeah, she said what she said. You came back to Almighty God and he rebuilt your life. Yes. You clean house of everything evil. Clean house. You are the house. Cleaned it of everything evil. You learn to relax your grip on money. Okay? You ain't got to worry about, God can give him all the wealth and the riches in the world because his heart was not evil. He didn't love it. He loved God. It's like, God, make me a guardian of the faith. Teach me how to keep your will being done in me first, in my life first, and then in the world. And that secured the bag. Because he had God, he put God first. So everything else that God owned, okay, followed. Voila, magic. And here we are, the temple of God. Okay? The doors of our heart is open. The doors of Solomon's heart was open. Just like their mouth is open. It's unbelievable what God did through him and what he wants to do through us. Because he said, greater work shall we do. So it's about to be. It says a shocking comment spreads instantly. Reactions explode. Expect emotional aftershock. Yeah. Yeah. They can't believe it. She said, what? Why? Because you have the power now. Remember? You have the power now. So what you say matters. It's law in your land. Huh? It's law in your land. You get to plant what you want to see come up. And they can't believe you saying that they out, that it's over, that you done, that you leaving, and they never coming back. No more, no more, no more, no more. I'm not running away from home. I'm walking away from what I know is not the way. You walking away from perverse paths, wicked places, and not coming back. Nines are endings. It's over. And I said what I said. Okay, because I gotta have that life. I gotta have that life that is wealthy, that is godly, that is peaceful, that is clear of confusion. And I don't even need to be living in a world where I gotta be defensive, defending myself. That's hood. That's hood. Grew up in it, but I'm not of it. God, you can show me a way that I don't have to go that way, that I don't have to live that life. My heart is open. Give me an understanding. Okay, guys. That's that. And until next time.